there's a lot of debate on who makes the best jollof rice. And we all know it's Nigerian people. That's why I'm here. I'm about to have a banging ass meal very, very soon. My name is Kwame and I'm from the Bronx, New York, and today we're gonna make jollof rice, red stew, and fried plantain. Red stew is kind of like the mother sauce of West Africa. We put it in a lot of different things. It starts with that base. It's really very similar to a sofrito. If you cut it properly, you should just get the whole top off beautifully. Just de-seed this pepper real quick, and then just let your knife do the work and roll this bad boy out. We are going to chop these tomatoes. Once again, rough chop. It has so many aromatic qualities, as well as that, nice acidic, sweet tomato flavor. In my restaurant, I usually use this in lieu of tomatoes in any recipe. So if I'm making a Veracruz sauce, I'll use this instead of tomatoes. I'll use the finished paste. So we have the onions chopped here. I'm gonna add some curry powder, 2 bouillon cubes, Scotch bonnet peppers. Throw that in there. Move on to this garlic. And we're not even gonna cut these up. We're gonna throw them right in there. The blender's gonna do all the work for us. So I always like to peel my ginger with a spoon because you get the least amount of flesh off of it and you get the maximum amount of yield. Don't feel the need to mince this. Just slice it into manageable pieces. Now that it's almost ready to blend, I'm gonna heat this pan up so we're not waiting for it. And you're gonna wanna add more oil than you really think necessary. It's removing the water content from this vegetable puree, but it's also caramelizing the vegetables at the same time. Make sure you get some tomatoes in there. It'll help bust this baby up. That's all you're really looking for. It's a nice paste. So continue that process until it's all blended up. All right, so you wanna control your heat, so you're gonna wanna turn it down or it'll splatter a lot. It's gonna caramelize in this oil. It's going to remove a lot of the moisture from the sauce, and it's gonna cook out these aromatics all at the same time. Constant stirring, and you can see this has intensified so much in color and richness and flavor. It smells so good, and the oil is starting to separate. You can just put this over rice. You can cook whatever protein you want in it, or you can make rice with it. So we're gonna make jollof rice, and we're also going to stew some chicken. Oh, throw it off camera. Oh! That was the coolest shit I've ever did in my life. So for the jollof rice, I like mine really spicy, so I'm gonna add a little bit more sauteed Scotch bonnet peppers to it. So we're gonna start by just chopping this. Now, if you want it more spicy, put another one in. If you want it less spicy, only use half of the pepper. So we're adding a lot more oil than you usually would because we're gonna parch the rice. Now, parching the rice is cooking the rice in oil and coating each individual grain with fat. That way, when it's cooked and you have the finished product, it's all separate and beautiful. So I'm just gonna add this to the pot. I'm gonna add the tomato paste. Just gonna let this cook for a little bit. Honestly, like 3 minutes. Very, very quick. So now that the tomato paste has like a rusty color, it's a little bit more darker, we're gonna add the rice, and we're just gonna parch the rice. And it's gonna toast a little bit and really get a nice nutty flavor. That's why I like cooking my rice like this. And now I'm gonna add that stew back, that red stew that we made. And this is gonna give it that signature flavor of jollof rice. Now I'm gonna add my water, and we'll salt it when we fluff it, but we do wanna get some seasoning into the core of the rice, so add a generous amount of salt. Now we're gonna let this come to a boil before we put it into the oven. I think it's ready to go in the oven, so we're just gonna put a lid on it. Don't rush this process. It's really, really important that the liquid is really hot when you put it in. So make sure your oven's at 350 degrees fully before you put it in there. So this is going here for about 20 to 30 minutes. We'll check it in 20 and see how it looks. All right, so we're gonna make chicken stew now. So chicken stew is, once again, a quintessential West African dish. We have this pot that's heating up. We're gonna add some oil to it. And right now we're just gonna brown the chicken, and that's gonna add a really nice flavor to it. And I'm just gonna season it very aggressively with salt. You see the oil is smoking. That's the pot telling you it's ready to go. Now we're not looking to cook the chicken. We're only looking to brown it on the outside. Always season high so it coats it like snow. All right. We're gonna go right into this pot because we want to get all of those caramelized bits on the bottom, but we'll turn it down a little bit so this doesn't splatter on us. It's a lot of flavor from that caramelized chicken skin. And we're gonna add the chicken right to this stew. So I'm gonna add the rest of the stew. It's on top of here. So this is like dried smoked shrimp powder. It adds umami to a lot of dishes in West Africa. Cook it for about 30 minutes to an hour and let it stew nice and slowly. Let that chicken break down and seep in all of those delicious flavors. Now this is one of those dishes that you can cook it today and it's gonna taste better tomorrow and the next day. So we're just gonna simply do fried plantain. It should be almost black. You know, the darker the outside with these nice little yellow spots, it lets you know that it's really, really sweet and it's ready to go. And we're just gonna cut these into like nice rounds on a bias. And they'll cook pretty quickly. So you're just looking for them to be golden brown on the outside. And you want your oil at about 350 degrees. To get the nice crispy outside, golden brown, while cooking all the way through on the inside. If it's too hot, it'll burn all the way on the outside before it's even cooked. So it's been 20 minutes. Let's check on this rice. And check to see if this is done. Yep, the rice looks done. I'm gonna pour off a little bit of the excess oil. I'm just gonna fluff this rice. You wanna flip your plantains over so they're nice and golden brown all the way around. These plantains are definitely ready to come out. You season them directly with salt as soon as they come out the oil so the salt can stick to them. Season this with a little bit more salt. I think we're ready to go. So we will put a little bit of the rice down. Look at that. This just reminds me of my childhood so much. So you put a little bit of the stew there, a couple pieces. That's all she wrote. This is a quintessential West African jollof rice and chicken stew. I have slaved away at this. It is time to eat it. And this chicken should just fall off the bone like that. Oh. People need to eat more West African food. Can we do that this year? Can you all promise me to eat more West African food? Plantains just like cut through that heat so well. Dipping this in the stew. A little crispy on the outside. Check out the link if you want the recipe, or come on down to Kith and Kin.